We're here because at this point in our history, we are coming to recognise in fits and starts, not all of us, but governments and scientists are coming to recognise that we've made enormous progress on the back of fossil fuels and modern agriculture and so on, but it's come at a consequence. It's come with consequences. And one of those consequences is we're releasing what is now recognised as a pollutant. In excess, carbon dioxide, methane and other greenhouse gases are now recognised legally as pollutants in this country and elsewhere. And for the first time, we're putting a price on that pollution. And that's really worth reflecting on just for a moment. That we've done capitalism and economics for centuries. Ever since the Dutch started forming trading houses, and even before that, we've got quite good at that. And we've kept the environment outside of that. It's been treated as just somewhere where you put rubbish or you take resources and you churn those into the economy. And now we're bringing it into the economy. By putting a price on pollution, we're recognising it, and we're giving people at the big end of town in the boardrooms an incentive to do things differently. So it's intended to change behaviour, and that's quite a pivotal moment in our history. And it really doesn't matter whether you or I believe that the climate is changing, that human beings are changing the climate. It's immaterial to this discussion today because governments do accept that. And that's evidenced by the fact that around the world, a price is being put on carbon pollution, on carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases. In 1990, carbon taxes were introduced in Denmark and Holland. And then subsequently, other European nations have followed. Sweden now has a carbon tax in excess of $100 a tonne, which is way in excess of what we're looking at. There's an emissions trading scheme going in Europe. There are emissions trading schemes being introduced around the world. There's one being introduced 2 years from now in California. California is the world's 8th largest economy, a bigger economy than Australia. The South Korean government has recently passed legislation to introduce an ETS. Mexico similarly. China will have one that will cover about 1/5 of their population. Of course, 1/5 of their population is a couple of 100 million people. And there are similar sorts of schemes to the carbon farming initiative we'll talk about today in other parts of the world. So Australia is not leading the way. And you watch the media, you could be forgiven for having that preconception or misconception. But it really doesn't matter whether you or I accept that what's going on. The fact is that policymakers do.